there's a book I read called Boundaries.
Mm.
Um, it blessed me. Part probably one of the best books, excuse me, I've ever read. Because the premise of the book is that boundaries are a part of life, and so much so that we don't even think about the boundaries that exist in life. There are some boundaries that are comfortable or natural boundaries. um, you think about boundaries on the road that you drive
Mhm.
between those lines. Those
Mhm.
are boundaries meant to alert you when you deviate off a certain path.
Mhm.
um, if you own property, you have boundary lines. Countries separate their property from others with boundary lines.
Boundaries.
Come on, David.
Yeah.
Boundaries is just part of life. And there are boundaries that are uncomfortable, and there are boundaries that are comfortable. And in marriage, it becomes difficult sometimes to determine what are healthy boundaries and what are unhealthy boundaries. And whenever boundaries are established within the context of marriage or really any relationship that challenges your level of comfortability, then that boundary then functions as the impetus for division, right? Because if I set a boundary in a marriage that this is something that you cannot go past,
Mm.
this is something that I am not ready to discuss. This is something that I do not have the emotional maturity and capacity to deal with and address at this moment. Those boundaries, if not respected by your partner, becomes an issue by which is created in your marriage. And I'm not really talking about from the perspective of avoidance as much as I am from the perspective of respecting that moment when the timing is off.
Mm.
So for example, Sean and I had an argument one time, and we had an argument because I I brought up a criticism or a critique about something that she did or something that I didn't like or whatever the case may be, and uh, and I couldn't figure out why she was responding in this way. Right? Why are
Mm.
you so mad about this? This is not a big deal. Da, 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 da. But
Mhm.
it took round and round and round for me to figure out that her issue was the timing
Mm.
of which I'd said what I said, and
Mhm.
not the fact that I said what I said, right?
Mm.
And so this is why boundaries and learning your partner is important, because it then forces you now to have to consider maybe the best time ain't when you come in from work after working all day, right?
Mm.
Maybe that's not the best time. Maybe it's not the best time when, whatever, right? Fill in the blank, whatever
Mhm.
thing it is. And so, you know, boundaries is obviously a thing that we're constantly setting and readjusting and setting and readjusting and setting and readjusting. And when I took this I did this years ago. Lamont Ross, Marcellus Avenue in Dallas, had me to go through this program that he had gone through for marriage and premarital counseling. It's called Preparing Rich. I still have the program to this day. It's what I use. And this is probably 15, 20 years, no, about 15 years ago. I still use it to this day when I do marriage and premarital counseling.
Mhm.
But so when I was getting certified through this program, one of the things that it suggests is that if there are conversations that need to happen, and there are things that you want and need to discuss, set a time to discuss it, right? Schedule a time to discuss it so that that you are able to discuss it peacefully. They call this method of communication, they call this assertive communication and active listening. Assertive communication is the ability to express what you want and need. And that doesn't mean aggressive. It just means that you have the ability to say what you want and need. And active listening is the ability to repeat back to your partner what they said to make sure that you're clear about what their expectations are. And then if it is too hot of an emotional moment, then then you must set a time to discuss those things. So I'm done.